This second letter family are wide letters, and we're starting with ones that follow the same stroke sequence. So the letter D is a wide letter. And as with the first letter family, actually I'm probably not going to be able to get 3 diamonds in there, but let's put a couple of ticks on there. So start a little bit below the line, a nice straight line, the downstroke, and then the downstroke goes slightly to the left at the bottom. This shape here comes about halfway between these 2 guidelines for X height. So it comes from within the stroke out until it hits a top line, a slight little curve there, and then a slight curve at the bottom. All of these curves are really controlled. Don't exaggerate them. It really is a case of let the pen do the work. A letter N is based on this form by coming down to the bottom like this and out, and then just put a little foot on it. Again, out from about the middle, come down with a curve in, left, left, right, left. Downstroke. Again, only room for 2 diamonds and 2 little ticks coming in to the downstroke. I just do that one again. Nice vertical line to the left. Put its foot on. This comes out from about halfway between those guidelines for X height. A move to the left, a move to the right, a move to the left, and then the vertical line. Oh, I could get 3 in there, and 2 flicks. If I extend that ascender, vertical line to the left, put a foot on, come from about halfway, that shape to the left, to the right, to the left, we have a letter H. And you can see why when you're practicing it's so useful having these vertical lines drawn, because then you can just follow them down. Because if your handwriting or your normal movement for writing is sloping forwards or backwards, it can be quite tricky to maintain that nice straight upright, and having those guidelines there to help you do that. And there's no rules that say that you shouldn't. Use anything that you can when you're practicing. Now, if we extend that line below the bottom line for X height, we take the same form for a letter P. And the last stroke for the main form of the letter P starts a little bit to the left. And again, that vertical line with the diamonds and the ticks. Now, I've been working on whether you think it might be possible to do a letter M based on this form. I'm not absolutely certain, to be perfectly honest, whether that works. You choose. If you don't think it works, then you could resort to a letter M, like the minuscule letter M, but larger. an X height of 7.5 nib widths, and you could just squeeze in that vertical line and perhaps some tiny diamonds and a couple of flicks before you start. The letter A is also a wide letter. Nice little flick up there. And you can put a little flourish on it to start with. I'll just do that again. Sort of triangular. Oh, sorry, it should start there. And then join it. Little triangle. Just going to move the paper along. And then we get to the letter S. A letter S is a problem in just about every single writing style. And Gothic black letter or Gothic book script is no exception. So that's the basic. We're starting a little bit below the top line for X height, and keep this stroke tight. It's a curve, it's not an angle, but keep it tight. And what I'm aiming for is for that white space there, to look about the same all the way down. I think it's better on that letter than it is there, and that's because I was talking. And then a slight curve downwards, a slight curve downwards before it joins there, and then this stroke at 45 degrees, taking it from that stroke to that stroke. Nice, tidy up. And then the letter Z, a wide letter, and as with all letters Z, you then change your nib angle from 45 degrees to about 10 degrees to make that second diagonal stroke fatter. And you make it fatter because if you don't, you get a very, very thin, weak stroke that just really does weaken the letter. And let's make this a Be Fair to Letters day. I didn't change it enough there, did I? Just go over that. That's it. And then a diagonal narrow stroke, turn the pen nib to 0 degrees and 2 horizontal lines. You could make it a thicker line if you wish, but I quite like those 2 thin lines. And that's the end of this second letter family.